The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Welcome to Spears and Ali on ESPN Tucson.
Justin Spears, I like that.
With Justin Spears and Ali Farhang on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, ESPN Tucson. Brought to you by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Rightway Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I want to be entertaining, but I'm not stupid enough to compare myself to Ali.
What's good, everyone? Happy Friday. You're listening to Spears and Ali right here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, and the Spears and Ali podcast, which you could find on Apple and Spotify. And as always, check us out on YouTube. We're trying this new thing. We're trying to get more videos, more visual content, so you can see us do our thing in studio. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, so go there and what are you supposed to do on YouTube? Subscribe, like it, whatever. Yeah, because it
smash that subscribe button.
Yeah, it's our it's all the way we feel about ourselves is all entirely based upon our following and likes on social media. When I say we, I mean Justin.
Yes. No.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Totally.
No. Okay.
Yes.
But do your thing.
Yeah.
Make me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Go smash.
But don't criticize him because he will be stressing on that and thinking about that for days on end.
I've learned to just let it fall off my shoulder. And I'm actually getting I'm getting criticized by Midwest Twitter right now.
Yeah.
The Midwestern folks have found my tweet regarding the Big 12 tournament, which we are going to talk about ad nauseum over the next couple of hours. But the Big 12 tournament leading up to Arizona's big win over Kansas in the quarterfinals, the Big 12 announced, hey, we are canceling our Fan Fest outside T-Mobile Center because of harsh weather conditions and harsh winds.
But the weather's nice. It's not bad. It's like in the 70s.
In Kansas City?
Yeah, but maybe it's gotten worse. But
I think it's gotten worse. I mean, they canceled the Fan Fest.
Well, they canceled it like 2 weeks ago.
Well, they officially had their announcement yesterday saying that, we are officially closing up shop.
They announced
for the Fan Fest.
They re-announced their announcement.
They re-announced their announcement. Or I don't think they officially announced it. Reporters came out and said this is what's going to happen, and then the Big 12 confirmed it. And then I quote tweeted the Big 12 tweet, and I said, "Are we sure about keeping this conference tournament in Kansas City until 2031? How about we alternate it between, let's say, Las Vegas, San Antonio, and New Orleans?" And
people in the Midwest didn't like that.
The Midwest Twitter, that whole area, that part of the country, they did not like what I had to say.
What's wrong with grasslands and hills?
And they're like, you just want a vacation. It's like, oh, sorry for thinking about the fans' experience outside of just going to watch basketball.
I mean, I would like to vacation. And if you live in the Midwest and you don't want a vacation, I worry about you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Midwest Twitter. And listen, I've been called a moron. I've been called all sorts of names by these
by douche kebab 123
by these folks that pronounce wash. Yeah, those people. They're criticizing me right now, and it's totally okay.
Let's put it in context.
And it's totally okay. You're prideful about your region, and I respect that. So the good folks at Kansas City, you have a great city. I respect the Midwest. I don't like being called a moron, but I respect you guys.
First of all, if the shoe fits. Second, I mean, let's put this in context. I like Kansas City. I think Kansas City is a cool city.
I've flown over it a few times.
Yeah, but it's you have fans from a bunch of different locations and different schools. And what you were suggesting is make it a real destination like Las Vegas, where there's things to do. And these people that are like, but I can drive to the tournament from where I live. You're a moron. Really, it's about them. It's not.
Sure.
I mean,
and that's why I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, it's
letting
like,
it affect me.
People in the Midwest, like, you need to look in the mirror a little bit and understand that when you call somebody a moron, sometimes you're just staring in a mirror. Like, why would you not want to be in Vegas over Kansas City? Yeah, I mean, it's like you know what? It is a vacation. Guess what? When you travel to another city to go experience an event or something, doing things, that is the definition of a vacation. And if you say, I would rather go to Kansas City than Las Vegas, well, I think you are the person that eats Wonder Bread and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, if
Which
barbecue
is cool. Not for me.
exactly.
Cool for
Like
you.
if you're like a barbecue snob and you're like,
Yeah.
I want to go try all these different barbecue places.
Those are very two different things.
Yeah.
Mayo sandwiches and barbecue connoisseurs.
There's
Come on now.
bologna in there probably.
That's true.
Yeah.
But me, I want to have a good experience, especially if I'm a fan of a team that's there. Las Vegas, you could do a number of things. San Antonio, you got the Riverwalk. There's lots of things to do in San Antonio.
I don't know about San Antonio and
Good
New
churros.
Orleans. Las Vegas to me is the destination. And I know Brett Yormark, when he did his press conference, he's like, look, we're going to be in Kansas City till 2031. So you can stop with the Las Vegas questions. I understand that. There's a contract. But this is another example of two things can be true. I mean, people calling you a moron and Las Vegas is a better place for the Big 12 tournament. I mean, it's just.
Oh, man. All right. Speaking of the Big 12 tournament, we got lots to discuss regarding these Arizona Wildcats and their big win.
Yes.
Last night over the Kansas Jayhawks. Before we talk about that, just want to give a huge shout out to our great sponsors here on Spears and Ali, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union.
Yeah.
Better than a bank, better than your bank. And then happy Pi Day to all. Today's Friday, 3/14. So it is Pi Day. Of course, me being me.
3.14,
Not
0.12, 0.13.
the endless number.
Yeah.
That is pi.
When you said Pi Day, I was like, oh, they're bringing in a bunch of pies to the studio. Yeah, it's early, but I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking pie.
Pi.
Yeah.
PI.
PI.
Not passing interference. PI.
No, which we still don't know really what it is. Also don't know.
ethereal
Still
thing.
very confused after watching the Kansas-Arizona game. And I've been confused just the Big 12 season altogether. What is a moving screen?
A lot of moving screens from Hunter Dickinson last night
Good God.
in that game.
Good God.
So Arizona, big win for the Cats. Less than a week after losing to the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence, they lost 83-76. They beat Kansas 88-77 in the quarterfinal game of the Big 12 tournament. And you know what? How about a way to start your Big 12 tournament era? Like, what better way to do it than to beat the Kansas Jayhawks, which are playing in front of a home crowd at T-Mobile Arena or T-Mobile Center? And I put out
respect on T-Mobile Arena.
I know in Las Vegas. Speaking of Vegas, but I put out a tweet yesterday that said, "Man, great win for Arizona. You slay Kansas.
You're going to put a butt in there.
Kansas
Here comes
City.
the butt. Here comes the butt.
No, somebody was like, Kansas City isn't in Kansas, idiot. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad that we all know geography, but Lawrence, Kansas is like 30 minutes away from Kansas City. So my point still stands. It was a home game for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Kansas City's not in Kansas?
There is a Kansas City, Kansas.
I know.
But
That
but the tournament that they're playing is Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's across the river. But yeah, people are getting on me. I'm like, at what point did I say that? Anyways,
dude, I've started to experience, like, I'll put like the clip we put out about Arizona athletics can do better as far as the promotion and engaging the fans at games. And then you just get these little some people just want to be gremlins, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm not even responding. But why would I respond to this idiot, right?
And it's
like what it's like, oh, I switched the channel because all you guys talk about, how about the tournament starting? I mean, like, with the whole show, 2 hours. For an hour and a half, we talked about basketball in the tournament. For 5 minutes, we talked about Arizona athletics, great people, the amount of effort and time that they put into what they do and how much they love the school is absolutely admirable. But for 5 minutes, we just talked about what are some things that we can do to make our home field, home court better. It's like, oh, that's all you guys talk about. I'm switching the channel. And I'm like, dude, just switch the channel because you're a moron. And if you're listening, I'm never going to respond to you except for on the air, and you're an idiot. So, and just frankly, I'm one of those people that's like, look, man, we all have our attributes. We all have our traits. We're all our strengths, our weaknesses. I love you as a human being. Yeah, but I'm smarter than you, better looking than you. I'm doing better in life than you. I've got more friends than you. So
my clothes better, my fit better.
I smell better. Yeah, it's just like, so yeah, goodbye, Felicia.
But back to what I was saying was I pretty much lauded Arizona for beating the Kansas Jayhawks in Kansas City first ever Big 12 tournament game, and you beat Kansas, and pretty much was a home court for the Jayhawks. And it was for a lot of years, Arizona was the home team whenever they went out to the conference tournament. So for them to do that in front of a raucous Kansas crowd, I thought was great. And
U of A fans, we heard you on TV.
Yeah,
you showed out. Great job.
There were U of A chants.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
And I think really the biggest difference in this game, and we actually talked about it leading up to the game, was Henry Vasar, man. I mean, he got into foul trouble in Lawrence. Only played, I think it was like 16 minutes.
Yeah.
And
I thought the refs were going to do that again last night because it seemed like everybody on our team had 2 fouls. Conrad Martinez didn't play. He had 2 fouls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of foul calls.
Come on, Michael Green. Come on.
But I will say this. Henry Vasar played his ass off, played one of his better games as an Arizona Wildcat. And his length, his defense, how he matched up against Hunter Dickinson. And I know that Hunter Dickinson, listen, he had 19 points and 12 rebounds, yet another double-double for him. But Henry Vasar played very tough defensively. And it wasn't just Henry Vasar. It was Carter Bryant, who, shout out to my guy, Michael Lev. He made a great point on Twitter last night that Carter Bryant did a lot of stuff that doesn't show up in the box score. He got his hands on passes that were in the lane, deflecting passes. Like, he just had his hands on everything, and he was so all over the place. KJ Lewis diving for loose balls, like that kind of effort, that's going to carry Arizona far in March. And listen, Zeke Mayo started to get things going in the second half, and you started to think, oh no, here comes the avalanche for the Kansas Jayhawks. And they were able to weather the storm, and they were so resilient down the stretch. I think this Arizona team, man, they got a lot of grit. Yes. Have they presented a lot of red flags? Sure. Or a few red flags. But man, this Arizona's team, they're very tough. And that's why I'm high on them potentially making a deep run in March. Let's take some phone calls here. 719-1490 is that phone number, 719-1490. We are talking Arizona, Kansas to begin this hour of Spears and Ali, and we got T-Money joining the show. What's up, T-Money?
Hey, if people want to change the station, what we need to do is change the AstroTurf to real grass at Arizona Stadium.
Yes.
Anyway.
Bermuda,
yes.
baby. Bring back the Bermuda.
T-Money.
Hey, we have our own strain, right? We have our own strain of Bermuda grass that we created. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson, bro, like that dude should be left tackle for the Lions. I mean, he was throwing some blocks out there. He was clearing paths. Like, they should have ran pretty much left power trap behind him all night. And they did. It was amazing. Him and his dad bod. That fool should be changing diapers. So he probably is. Probably is. But the difference is Henry Vasar is lean. Henry Vasar is athletic. And Hunter isn't. Hunter's dirty. Hunter throws elbows and pushes Vasar in the back into oncoming players. And he did it all night. I told you, Kansas is a bunch of front runners and pansies and sissies, and they are. And you saw that. And you saw the fans. You saw how they acted. They were pouting the whole game. You saw the refs keeping Kansas in the game. This is not imagined. You saw correctly. It's the Jayhawk Invitational. And when people talk about moving the Big 12 tournament somewhere else, KU gets mad because they own the Big 12. And that's why Texas and Oklahoma and Missouri and Nebraska and A&M all left. So that's kind of the backstory.
Absolutely, man.
Love it, T-Money. Thank you.
Spot on.
And definitely grass at Arizona Stadium. Definitely grass at Arizona Stadium.
Definitely grass. Definitely grass.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
T-Money, right on with everything, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
And
it's like a combination of rye and California sesame, right? And I think
something like that.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, in Caddyshack, makes it for a great fairway. Also, Bill Murray smoked it, so it's
got something going for it.
Yeah. And we gave Henry Vasar his flowers, and rightfully so. 7 for 11 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3-point range, and it made me think about this old tweet from back in the day when I said, I don't know why Henry Vasar reminds me of Kirk Walters, tall, lanky white guy with floppy hair, and I was like, wait, did I say Kirk Walters? I meant Lauri Markkanen. 2 for 3 from 3-point range yesterday.
That's quite a range there, buddy.
I know. I know. And that's why I was like, wait, my bad. My bad. With all due respect to Kirk Walters, I think Henry Vasar is a much better player.
It's like the two Antetokounmpo brothers, Giannis and his brother.
And
it's like
Thanasis.
somewhere between that.
On a scale of Thanasis to Giannis, how good is this player? But yeah, we gave our flowers to Henry Vasar, rightfully so. He's as tough as it gets. And it's cool to see him extend his range. And I think next year we could see Henry Vasar be an all-around player, potentially be an NBA lottery pick. But the version of Henry Vasar we're getting right now is so valuable to Arizona because he plays tough defense at his length. You can use that kind of player in multiple lineups. So I like what Henry Vasar did in 29 minutes. Again, 19 points, was all over the place. But man, we also got to give a shout out to Trey Townsend, because Trey Townsend,
that's the storyline of the game, man. I mean, Tommy started him.
Yeah.
It's the first time he started in almost a month and a half. Obviously, Tommy saw something, and this March Trey thing might be a thing. I thought Trey Townsend played magnificently, and we talked to Matt Muehlbach about this on Wednesday. He seems to be finally finding his place in this team and like how he can contribute. I thought Trey Townsend played great, and Caleb Love scored 11 points last night, but he had like 6 assists.
And 1 turnover.
1 turnover, some rebounds, some steals. I thought Caleb Love, you guys have been asking for this Caleb Love. He played, I thought Caleb Love played one of his best games as a Wildcat, and I know it was only 11 points, but there were so many things that were created and executed because of the attention on Caleb Love when we were on offense.
When 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover, right? That's the big stat for me. Is like he did all these amazing things and only did with 1 turnover. Very efficient.
We actually were really good with the ball last night. I thought that was a big point of the game, is that we didn't really turn the ball over last night.
All right, let's take another phone call here. 719-1490 is that phone number, 719-1490. Jason is joining the show. Good morning, Jason. What's on your mind?
Justin Spears, got a couple of things. First question is, are you going to get wings tonight?
Am I going to get wings tonight?
No, I'm going to answer for him. No, he had 4 wings last night. He's on a diet. He's not allowed to have any more wings today.
What about cauliflower wings?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I know you probably know who this is, Justin. But anyway, I'll tell you what kept Arizona in the game last night, and something that a lot of people, it's been kind of like up and down all season.
Yeah.
From what other people say. But I think that their defense in the second half kept them in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that stuff travels. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you play tough defense, you can win a game. I mean, you can win a game in a rock fight fashion, right? 50-40, or if you have tough defense later on down the stretch in a high scoring game, like, it doesn't matter. Defense travels at all times. So I agree.
When I used to coach basketball, I used to tell my team, defense leads to offense that leads to wins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I do agree with you.
Yep.
I think that if they continue to play the defense that they have played in the past, and like you said, Caleb Love can have 5 points in the whole game, but he's he basically is the floor general. And, I think that if he continues to have, 10, 12 points a game, but can have a bunch of assists and have less turnovers, I think Arizona is going to go very far in this tournament.
Yeah.
And tonight we'll see what happens tonight, though.
Yeah. Because now you're playing against
tough Texas Tech team, man.
Big 12 Player of the Year, and JT Toppin. Red Raiders are really good right now.
They're really good.
So
yeah, they are. But you know what? You could beat anybody on any given day.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right, you guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Good morning, Jason. Thank you, buddy.
Jason, call back more often. Thank you, bro.
Jason makes a good point. I mean, we were playing in a kind of a really elite levels of defense earlier, like I'd say a month ago. And then the last few games is kind of dissipated, but you really saw that defense that we were playing before. You saw vestiges of it last night. I thought it was one of the best team wins of the year. Like if I said, who really won us the game, we're going to probably rattle off 3 or 4 guys' names. There's not one guy's name that comes to mind. And so I thought Tommy did a great job of, doing something a little unconventional, of changing the starting lineup. I thought Trey Townsend played great. We've talked about Henry. I think KJ Lewis, that he looked healthier last night than he's looked in months. Made a 3. Man, I thought we played great. It was a great team win. And again, like you said, what a way to make our entrance into the Big 12 tournament with a win over Kansas and basically in front of their home crowd.
Still can't get used to that court, man. Still can't get used to it. It looks like they're playing on, I think Jenna Fink said it's like a matrix board.
I
Looks
think
weird.
Somebody's like a young teenager's face. They got a bunch of blackheads on their face. Looks like a bunch of zits. Like
Kind of looks like a rubber doormat to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
It's just super weird.
Yeah.
But
I don't hate it. It's okay. No. I like being different. You got to try things. You got to be creative, dude. But it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't work, and you change it up.
Sometimes you're Oregon.
But I hate status quo, right?
Poop smear court.
Getting better, you're getting worse. There's no staying the same. So, you know what? If they're trying to do something creative and new, it may not work, but it's like at least they're trying.
Nah.
So no.
How about something creative new for McHale? Cactus logo, center court. Boom, right in the middle.
Nah.
Whoa. Very surprised by that reaction.
Nah.
Like the old logo, you mean?
Yeah, the old Cactus logo, center court.
I could get on that.
How about underneath the basket or in the paint?
I could go for that.
Okay.
Cool. Or at the top of the key.
Yeah, something. We just need to bring back the logo in some shape.
I would just love, during timeouts not to watch tic-tac-toe. If we could start there.
We can admire the Cactus logo.
They're going to change the channel.
Yeah. And I know we got to go to break, and I'm just going to be real quick about this. But the other thing is going to all the home games and watching the tic-tac-toe. It's astonishing to me how stupid people are about tic-tac-toe. Like, what are they? It's like, no, don't put it there.
Why would you block it?
You could get them 2 ways if you put it in the corner. I don't think one person started in the middle. Like, what are you doing?
You sound like me watching Dora the Explorer, man. Come on, Dora, it's right behind you. Obre Los Ojos.
Funny story. That's why Justin always walks around with a little backpack. Yeah. And he walks around going, backpack.
Yeah.
Swipey, no swipey.
All right, coming up next on Spears and Ali, Adia Barnes. What's her future? She going to be at Arizona, or will she be going to the SEC? We'll talk about that coming up next. Welcome back to Spears and Ali, right here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast and YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please subscribe if you can. So we were talking in the first segment about Arizona basketball.
Oh, delicious.
Big win
So
over
good.
Kansas. Before we talk Adia Barnes and Arizona women's basketball, Joe Lunardi, he is a maniac, man. He loves to mess with Arizona fans. So his
I didn't like it.
His bracketology a couple days ago had Arizona playing the winner of Xavier, North Carolina, which would mean Arizona would play the winner of Sean Miller or potentially RJ Davis, who's got this kind of rivalry with Caleb Love because there was a love triangle when they were at North Carolina. And then his latest bracketology, Joe Lunardi has Arizona playing the winner of Xavier in Indiana, which has Umar Ballo, former Arizona center.
Yeah.
And is a team that's
And
on
by
the
the way, a couple things. Umar Ballo, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. He was talking. They lost to who they lose to Illinois, and talking about like his DMs and people sending him threats and the team like just like
awful.
nasty notes and stuff. And I just like what's wrong with people?
It's awful, man.
It's awful. I mean, to like basically go off on somebody and like in a threatening way because of a game, like direct. It's just I mean, it's just I felt so bad for him. You could see the pain in his face. I was texting with my my men's grill last night. Obviously, we do that during games a lot. And
Your what?
Men's grill. It's my 2 brothers, my cousin, and my son. We call it the men's grill. That's the text thread name.
Gotcha.
And
The grill, huh?
I'm going to tell you that I think I love Sean Miller. Sean Miller, he's a buddy of mine. I love Tommy Lloyd. He's a buddy of mine. If we played Xavier, I don't know if I could watch. Like it would like make me physically. It makes me physically ill even thinking about it.
I could probably watch.
Yeah, I just like I don't want either of them. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm an Arizona guy, but sometimes it's just like people over laundry. I mean, and then I always root for laundry. But
I was gonna say that's what Jason
Unless
Kelsey did with the Super Bowl.
unless it's black and gold. Unless it's black and gold. But I root for like Tommy, Jack Murphy, Coach Rob, TJ Benz. I root for those guys to be successful even more than the U of A because I mean it's connected, but I want those guys because I know how much hard work they put in, and I know the guys on the team, and I want them to be successful. I love Sean Miller. Like I want him to be successful. I'm so happy he went back to Xavier. I'm so happy. I mean, they lost a heartbreaker to Connecticut not Connecticut, Marquette. They played Marquette tough. Marquette's a good team.
And they went on like a last second 3 too.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I don't want to see that. I'm okay with North Carolina. We're gonna wipe the floor with them. Umar Ballo versus Toby Awaka. Interesting matchup.
Henry Basar,
yeah.
And Ballo knowing like the whole ins and outs of the offense, eh?
Yeah, I mean, but does Tommy like mess with his head a little bit and start doing the hackaballo?
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I
just be like Visar shooting a 3. I've never seen this before.
And before we talk about Adia Barnes and women's basketball, I just want to say R.I.P. to John Feinstein, the great writer. He wrote Season on the Brink about the 85-86 Indiana season. He wrote a lot of other good books. He passed away last night. After he wrote that book, Bobby Knight basically banned him from Indiana, and they had a John Feinstein seat that no one could ever sit in. So it's still one of my favorite books. Passed away at 69, way too early,
man.
And just a great writer. And so condolences to the Feinstein family. I really liked his work.
I gotta read that book.
It's really good.
What's the name of it?
Season on the Brink.
Season on the Brink.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some Arizona Wildcats basketball here. Let's take your phone calls. 719-1490 is that phone number if you want to hit us up and join the discussion. 719-1490. All right, we got Steve joining us. Steve, thank you for your patience. What's on your mind?
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Off the subject, but about the game because they're your colleagues, those guys over at KOLD 13.
Yeah.
I picked up my phone this morning, and they ironically were like the first thing. So I wanted to see the box score, and whoever wrote an article on KOLD didn't even mention Henry Basar.
Oh man!
Like they didn't even watch the game. And then the other stupid thing I got to say is I was so worried to watch the game because of the floor. I was ready to protest and say I was going to listen to it on the radio, and it actually looked good on my TV. And I'm the last one that wants to admit that.
Got that
and I'm
OLED
definitely all for
sharpness.
grass at the stadium. It's the only thing Eberflus did good at Chicago is he changed whatever grass they had to some other type of grass, and it's wonderful. And it's a lot like Arizona's grass.
Well,
so that's why I relate. It's like a same type of strain or something.
Well, there's a long line of horticulture experts in the Eberflus family, so he kind of got that passed down to him from Grandpa Eberflus.
You know what? It's going to go unrecognized by many, but to me, it'll always be Eberflus's legacy. And one solid thing he did at Chicago was changing the turf at the stadium.
Also, so bad that he got you Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and you guys are doing some good work on the offensive line in the offseason with free agents. So if you give Caleb Williams some time, he gets his plays a little bit more on schedule, not so much freewheeling. I still think the kid's super talented. So
yeah,
you got hope in Chicago.
God bless Virginia McCaskey, but the minute she passed away, we spent a record amount of money in free agency.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence, man. The mom, the matriarch goes away, and the kids want to play with all the money. So good. Let's see what happens.
Let's see it, man.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
the call, brother.
Bye.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I didn't even I gotta be honest, I didn't even notice the floor while I was watching the game. It was it was a non-factor. And I get the whole Big 12, it's all over the court, right? A bunch of blackhead zits all over, but it was irrelevant to my experience in watching the game. And I watched Baylor Texas Tech before that, and I watched Iowa State and BYU was a great game.
Great game.
I'm telling you, man, BYU, I told you this after they beat us here in Tucson. BYU is underrated. They're playing some of the best basketball in the Big 12 over the last month. And I would not be surprised. I mean, I really want to beat Texas Tech tonight because I would love Arizona to have a rematch against Houston or BYU. Look for BYU to give Houston everything they can handle today.
Oh, absolutely.
They're just a really good team. They're a really good team. And Kevin Young, their coach, is an excellent coach. I mean, their offensive scheme and their sets are like next level. I mean, it's
NBA like.
It's really good. It's really good. I like Fran Fraschillo, the way he described coaching the NBA versus college is like, coaching the NBA is like if you speak Spanish and college is Portuguese, and Portuguese sounds like Spanish, but it's a different language altogether, right?
Interesting.
Did you not realize those were two different languages?
No, I realized they were two different languages.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
Just now
interesting point.
he did. Just now he did.
Yes. I know they speak Portuguese in Brazil.
So I like Roxy Bernstein and Fran Fraschilla. I think they do a good job calling the game. Fran Fraschilla is a little bit too deferential to the officials. I mean, when he says, like, Henry Vasar got elbowed in the face by Hunter Dickinson, that is like letter of the law, a flagrant one. Any contact to the head, right? That's like, and so he's like, oh yeah, that's definitely a flagrant one. And they're like, no, that's not a flagrant one. He's like, yeah, that's a good call, not a flagrant one. And I'm like, dude,
just contradicted yourself.
He was wearing flip-flops last night at the game. So big fan of Fran Fraschilla. I think he does a great job, but it's okay to say they made a bad call.
All right. I do want to talk about some major news happening in Southern Arizona right now.
Potentially.
With Arizona women's basketball. So Auburn just fired their head coach, Johnny Harris, after 4 seasons. And now Auburn's looking to hire a new coach. And according to multiple outlets, Arizona women's head basketball coach, Adia Barnes, has been contacted or is a serious candidate for this job. Now, of course, there have been some other names connected to this job, right? But Adia Barnes is an interesting name because she's about to go into her final year of her contract at Arizona. And let's just say Auburn takes their sweet time in hiring a coach. If they hire Adia Barnes after April 30th, they don't have to pay that $300,000 buyout. If they hire before then, leading up to that April 30th date, they have to pay $300,000. So now Adia Barnes getting interest from Auburn. It makes things interesting at Arizona because we've been talking about her getting a contract extension. You don't go into your final year of your contract without an extension. So
if you want to keep that coach.
So,
and there might have been
what's going to happen?
There might have been like kind of a understanding that she would get extended with the prior athletic director.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
And her contract right now is $5.85 million over 5 years. She's getting paid $1.25 million per year. What is her next contract going to look like at Arizona? Because, let's face it here, ever since Adia Barnes got that contract, they haven't had similar success to that 2021 season that got her that contract. Because after Arizona went to that national championship game with Eric McDonald and others, Baylor was like, hey, Kim Mulkey, she's going to LSU. We need a new coach. Hey, Adia Barnes, you're this young, rising coach of this profession that's got success. Let's give you a big check. And then Arizona was like, whoa. No. We're going to give you a little bit more because we want to keep you here. And ever since that contract was signed, Arizona women's basketball, I would say, has been somewhat disappointing. And I know that Adia Barnes has had to deal with certain situations that it's just been hard to go through. And I think she's a great coach. But, Desiree Reed-Francois, the Arizona AD, she's got to make a decision. Does Arizona give Adia Barnes that contract with the money that she's making now? Do they give her a pay reduction, or do they just say, yeah, Adia, go take that job at Auburn? I don't know. I would like to see Adia here, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she.
I wanted Adia here too, but I mean, look, it's just like a couple things can be true. Arizona women's basketball has never been as popular as it is now, and it's because of Adia Barnes, right? The fact that we're disappointed we don't make the tournament is saying something. I mean, I've been here long enough to know that,
it wasn't great when she took it over.
She had what was it? 117,000 total attendance this year, was like one of the top 2 in the Big 12.
Yeah.
But also it's like for the money, she's also one of the highest paid coaches in women's college basketball. And so is it, is the results, does it match, what she's making? Does Arizona women's basketball make money for the school? Because even though there's that kind of attendance, I'm not sure it even breaks even. So there's a lot of factors that go into a decision like that, other than that she's, one of our own, and she's done a great job elevating the program. And I think the future's bright with Adia Barnes as the coach if she's signed on. But she's also, if I'm Adia Barnes, I'm like, I'm going to start looking around, because you had a chance to sign me to an extension before this year. And in fact, I think I thought I had a deal in place with the prior athletic director, and it wasn't lived up to. So I would definitely be looking around. So to me, we'll see what happens. I think if Auburn or anybody else offers her the job, there's a really high likelihood that Adia Barnes has coached her last game at Arizona.
Man. Spears and Ali back here on ESPN Tucson and the Spears and Ali podcast. We are now doing a new segment every single Friday morning. It's called Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Where we're going to have our maybe overreaction to some things that are just really grinding our gears right now.
Just something maybe that's rubbing your rhubarb,
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
That's not a good idea. Or touch another man's fries. Or play poker with a guy whose first name is the same as a city in Texas. There's lots of rules, right? Mm-hmm. But this one is like, just, and it doesn't have to be like negative. It can just be like, fresh, like Bill Self after the press conference last night. He's like, Arizona, they just manhandle us. They were more physical. They wanted it more than us. I don't know. Maybe they got a better culture than we do. Maybe I don't know how to get my guys to play like Arizona plays. So thank you, Bill Self. Appreciate
it's huge from Bill Self.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a great compliment.
Yeah.
But it's that's just kind of the essence of what we're talking about for Freaky Friday.
One thing before we get to Freaky Friday, Bill Self, Tommy Lloyd, the respect those two guys have for each other, it's really cool.
Bill Self's one of the best coaches in college basketball, man, and he has been for a while. And other coaches think that he's one of the best coaches. And I'm going to tell you that the guy that nobody's talking about, and he is the best coach in college basketball, it's Tom Izzo and Michigan State. Put $25 on them last night to make the Final Four, because they're playing awesome. Mm-hmm. And Michigan State always gets better and better and better as the season goes on. They're playing some really good basketball.
All right,
plus 400.
They have the same curse we do, though. Yeah. I feel like they always drop out at the 16.
We'll see.
Freaky Friday. What's really grinding your gears? I'll start. Southwest Airlines. Man, why are you making us pay for baggage? You guys totally lost the plot here. Like, we fly with you because of the fact that we're able to bring on luggage and put stuff in the overhead bins. The fact that now you're charging us for luggage, come on, man. Charging us you guys lost the plot, man. And listen, I've stuck with you even during the holiday debacle from a couple of years ago. I stuck with you. I rode with Southwest Airlines because I like the complimentary drink and the complimentary snack that I get on the plane. And also the free luggage,
of course,
or the free carry-on.
Did you write this speech?
Yeah,
man.
You don't.
It upsets me.
You don't fly Southwest Airlines because you get to stand as number 67 in line. Yeah.
So line up by those columns.
Yeah, it's just, and you're like talking to other people. What number are you? I don't know. I'm 60. I'm 66. Oh, yeah. I'm 65.
And you try to sort
and
yourself.
And I'm like, I need to get in
numbers.
front of you because that one slot. Yeah, it's not my favorite airline. I'll just be. I don't care about the baggage.
So, anyways,
all right. So, just real quick, I know this gentleman can be smug, indignant, and sometimes intolerable at times. His name is Aaron Rodgers, and he's probably going to be the Steelers' next quarterback, which I will flip flop on what I said about him before and be all on board. But you sports reporters, like, oh, we need an answer now. I need to write a story now. Oh, you're just wanting the attention, and he's done it before, sure.
He does want the attention.
But I tell you what, man, when I got offered a job to come back to Tucson, I had two law firms give me an offer. And I said, can you give me the week so I can think about it? Nobody takes into account this. Like, the guy's like, do I want to put in the work that he told the Steelers, give me just until Friday and let me think about it. Nobody's bringing that up. They're like, oh, he's just such a diva. And he's just the last vestige of him making sure that he has all the attention. Maybe the dude is just trying to contemplate what he wants to do and talk to the team about it. So that's my Freaky Friday little thing is you sports reporters, you guys are a bunch of buffoons and you want your story today and now. Yeah. And by the way, if you're a reporter and you're like, I got a story and I need you to comment and you have 2 hours before it goes to print, you are an unethical reporter.
It's my story, and I need it now.
Yeah. You guys do
JG
that.
Wentworth.
2 hours. I need it with 2 hours.
877 cash now.
Unethical.